Hey, so I really want to walk you through this chart here. This is the productivity gains versus worker compensation, right? But first, my name is Brandon Z. Hoff, and I work a lot in cooperative development and inclusive economics. If you follow my LinkedIn, you'll see that I've taken a really keen interest into artificial intelligence. And part of the reason why is because I want to follow how it impacts the labor market specifically and then education, our educational institutions. And my friend Andrew Tudor, he's on LinkedIn too. Give him a follow. He sent this to me and he's like, this is really interesting. And I think so as well, because right here you see that this is our productivity gains. This chart dates back from 1948 to 2015. This is the Economic Policy Institute who did this study. And they mapped out the productivity gains from 1973 to 2015. And so you can see here in 1948 to 1973, they were pretty much in line with each other. And so what are productivity gains? We'll probably start there. What is a productivity gain? And so this is where we're able to produce more with the same resources. So if you think about a manufacturing company that can produce 100 widgets, and it takes 50 workers to produce 100 widgets, and technology comes and now we can do 1,000 widgets, right? That's a big increase, but 1,000 widgets with the same 50 workers, right? And so this is what this measure. And you say, okay, well, these productivity gains usually results in more economic growth. And so does that economic growth return back down into workers, right? Since they're a part of the organizations. And more often than not, no, which is why cooperative economics and co-ops is really important work, because it's about establishing wealth and ownership to be able to receive some of those economic gains. But that's for another conversation. The more important piece is that you can see how this number is growing over time, right? Where we've been able to make amazing strides in technology. There's probably some globalization. There might be some outsourcing that is a result of this as well. But nonetheless, there is an increase in productivity. And what we haven't seen is how that is offset worker compensation. And so the question I ask is, well, how is artificial intelligence going to impact this? Right. And so I wanted to be able to do this. And so I created this in Versailles. And this is information all from the Economic Policy Institute. And so I remade this, and you can see, right, we have our 2015 and we have our productivity gains, typical compensation, and then we have low wage compensation. So there's been some updated studies that I pulled from other sites in Perplexity. And so you see this productivity compensation gap that exists. And I have CEO pay on there as well. We'll get to that. And so what did this look like if we extended this out to now 2024? And so this research hasn't been done again, but I just said, what if we predict out and say the gains that are increasing in productivity, AI is getting a lot more powerful. We're seeing legislation being passed in California that doesn't restrict it. And so we're going to have a really, 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 and I should probably put this in presenter mode so you can really see this, right? We're really going to have, I think, some serious conversations about how we legislate artificial intelligence. And then if we project this out even further, right, if we take this out to 2040, it's quite alarming in terms of how much we gain in productivity without paying people more for these gains. And I don't see this being a part of the discussion, right? I see AI and automation and jobs will be lost, right? There's a big thing that punctuates some of the discussions about artificial intelligence. Is just wage stagnation and job loss. And I think this was just interesting when you look at just what CEO pay has been over the same time period, right? It's quite amazing. And so I think this really warrants some serious conversations around how we legislate and roll out and monitor AI adoption, AI access, and how what are the net effects and consequences for being able to automate and being able to increase productivity, being able to be more environmentally sound. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that we should be tackling and questioning. So this is just an exercise that I wanted to put out here, because I'm following this, and as a person who works in labor and who is interested in being able to build more inclusive economics. Like, this is very striking for me. And so, sharing information, and I'm really, really curious as to what others who are in this field, who are in economics or who in technology, this intersection between economics and technology, and how we are going to manage that. So certainly, let me know, like, if there's an offline conversations that can happen, or if there are things that are going on that I'd love to be a part of, to be able to have these kind of discussions. And so, let's keep talking.